would now like to introduce Tom Murta, who will be presenting on operating hybrid landscapes with SAP Cloud. Tom, you are all set to begin.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Quick check. Can you hear me?
Sound good.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining the operating hybrid landscape with SAP Cloud ALM or SAP Focused Run session. My name is Tom Murta. I work for the ALM product management team. And I'm excited to give you an overview about operating your hybrid landscapes today. To the agenda, I would like to start with a big picture, talking about the different strategic operations platforms, especially for different target groups, and what SAP brings to the table with our offering. And then from there, I would like to go and concentrate on SAP Cloud ALM for operations. And here, I would like to walk you through the value proposition of Cloud ALM when it gets to monitoring your hybrid landscape. We'll walk you through the use cases in detail and also give you some forecasts about the roadmap. It's been a brand new solution and we keep constantly releasing new features. So we'll walk you through this as well and how to use Cloud ALM, how you can get your own tenant and get started with it. And from there, we want to switch over to SAP Focused Run, another operations platform tool, especially for a hybrid landscape. Same here, we want to start with the value proposition, but Focused Run actually helps to improve your operations. I will walk you through the scope of Focused Run and the use cases in here as well. And then I would like to wrap it down on the technical side. What are new components in here, the simplified architecture and communications in Focused Run that helps to automate your operations and gives you also advanced need for high volume monitoring needs. Let's get started with the big picture. So this is a very strategic slide at the beginning. I would like to spend a minute here to walk you through the different strategy of operations platform for different target groups. So let me get started on the very left-hand side when I talk about, especially when I talk about operations. So when I start on the very left-hand side, we have SAP Solution Manager, which is our application lifecycle management suite, our on-premise flagship, which has been out for decades. So this is a fully integrated ALM suite. When I talk about an ALM suite, SAP Solution Manager covers the entire ALM cycle from app implementations or build, when we talk about project management or solution documentations, or a test suite, as we have heard in previous sessions as well. And then also covers the operations, the run part in the application lifecycle management, when it gets to applications operations. So with SAP Solution Manager, we mainly concentrate on-premise centric, medium up to larger customers to cover this. Customers who are very satisfied with the currently provided functional scope, that's where we see like when it gets on-premise, Solution Manager is the right tool probably. But now maybe let me switch over to the very right-hand side with SAP Cloud ALM. SAP Cloud ALM, again, also a full integrated application lifecycle management suite that has an implementations and an operations part. So we're addressing SAP Cloud ALM mainly cloud-centric customers like in a small, medium, or larger size. So here customers are requesting standardized cloud-based operations platform. Now, the third one, and also we will spend some time at the end in this session, SAP Focused Run. So how does SAP Focused Run fit into this conversation here? SAP Focused Run, on the other hand, is a pure technical monitoring tool. So this is probably like the first main difference here that we see like this is not like a full ALM fit. This is it's its own solution for hybrid monitoring, advanced monitoring needs. So this is kind of like where we address operations platform for either service providers or not just only service providers, customers with a larger hybrid landscape that are looking for advanced monitoring needs when it gets to beyond like SAP Solution Manager capability, also Cloud ALM, also when we talk about hybrid landscapes. So this here, like this might be like raise some questions here that we see now we have those three tools here. So this is like the reason why we have, so we're not trying to replace anything here. So this is kind of where we see the different landscapes of our customers, our partners that we see like either on-premise or cloud-centric or hybrid, so that we have here always the right solution for each landscape, for each scenario here. So then let me get started with Cloud ALM. SAP Cloud ALM, the operations part. So let me get started first with why do we need a central operations platform for cloud-centric landscapes? So let me get started first also when I mentioned like about the challenges. So first, let me bring up an example when we talk about, as an example, a business process, like a standard business process, like the lead to cash that we have seen here. So in the past, we see like it's more like a classical architecture that we see a monolithic stack, that we see we have two solutions like an ERP legacy system or CM that covers the lead to cash process. Now, what you can see with this advanced solutions, especially when it gets to now we're switching over from a monolithic to a multi-service landscape. Now it's easier, like with an intelligence suite, to consume software as a services, cloud services, to cover the lead to cash process, to enhance and improve those solutions here, which is very great. But now what we see, but also like we have seen in the operations side though, is some challenges when you get here. So the first that you can see, we have now more integration points, there are more systems, and it's kind of like the challenges here is like we have increased complexity to find and analyze issues when it gets to a distributed environment. And also there's an increased needs to consider business process end-to-end visibility and transparency. So this is like now with Cloud ALM operations is the answer for this scenario that we say like you have a tool that helps you to analyze any anomalies during your business process execution. So therefore we have like use cases like business process monitoring, or trying to find or correct any message flows or any integrated related exceptions in your scenarios here through your cloud landscape. So there's also like an integration use case for this that helps you. But not just only that we talk about processes or integration scenarios, Cloud ALM operations will help you also to identify and analyze the performance of user scenarios. So there's like, it gives you a tool that helps you to monitor the real user performance in the landscape. And very important also that we understand what is the healthiness of my applications, of my cloud services or my systems in my scenario. So having a capability to provide you insights to your application and monitor and also like the health of it. So what is then the value proposition in a little bit more in detail that we'd like cover when it gets to cloud-centric operations here with Cloud ALM? So Cloud ALM empowers our customers to understand the healthiness that I mentioned earlier. So this is a full stack monitoring tool that also like includes embedded analytics and alerting to cover all those use cases when it gets to business process management or integration scenario and all the performance problems. Also, what is very important here, like the value out of Cloud ALM is as an easy tool to get transparency and also insights to any root cause related scenarios, to analyze any situations in your scenarios in different levels. Cloud ALM is not just a tool for the technical experts. So this is a collaboration platform that helps work together for the line of business as well, your IT expert, your technical people as well. So Cloud ALM enables our customers to increase operations efficiency. And we provide this by different ways. So there's a lot of automation capabilities in there to correct certain actions and behaviors to reduce manual effort. It also helps, especially when it gets to predicting anomalies in any business process related scenarios, and also with the event correlation when it gets to the alerting, to the embedded alerting, to reduce again here like the alert flooding, and also like helping make it easier to route those problems as well. As I mentioned, so Cloud ALM in a nutshell, I say like this is a great tool that brings a lot of value when it gets to transparency in operations regarding any availability, health, and issues in any business service, including the downtimes and also events and service level agreements. So let me go and give you an overview about the available and planned scope in detail. So this is like the use cases when you sign up with you provision your Cloud ALM tenant, that you start getting in and helping you like to improve your operations. So as I mentioned there on the right-hand side, there are all like the use cases to help me identify those problems. I see also there's a lot of ways to increase those intelligent event processing and also like make those situations more smooth in your operations. So as I said, like Cloud ALM operations is a brand new tool that's been available since last year, August. And we'll go in the roadmap a little bit. One feature that we see like also the functional use cases and also like the solutions that we will keep adding in the next quarter and releases. So now let me go and walk you through the use cases in detail. So what does it help for me, especially when it gets to operations? So Cloud ALM helps me to cover certain ways in the problem management process. So when I talk about problem management, managing problem, so I like to break it up in 3 areas. So when I talk about problem in operations, first of all, I always get started when there's a problem in my landscape. I need to detect a problem. I need to understand, I need to be aware that something is not working as it expected and is causing actually like any troubles in my environment, in my business processes. So those are then my use cases where I start detecting this problem. It doesn't matter if it's in my business process or in any integration scenarios, that there are any exceptions or my users are performing a very poor performance in my landscapes or background jobs. So first, I want to capture those and detect it. Cloud ALM captures those alerts and makes it visible and transparent in the tenant. And then second from there, so we want to make sure it will be routed the problem. The problem needs to be routed in a fast way. It needs to be visible in a centralized platform, embedded platform that helps me to actually work resolving this problem. So here there's an intelligent event processing that helps actually with this alert flooding, that we don't get like all those alerts and don't see what the actual problem is. Also reduce manual effort here for processors to solve this. There's also like this embedded alert management capability, like out from these use cases that you see those alerts, you see like alert trackers in here as well. So now we have detected the problem. We want to route it also, then make sure like someone can work it in. Then it gets to the part where we actually have to start resolving the problem. And there are also different ways in our SAP Cloud ALM operations to actually like resolve the problem in different ways. Like actually, like first of all, to automate the operations, reduce the manual effort, huge topic in Cloud ALM. Root cause analysis tools, we help in here with embedded analytics, intelligence, and also the capability when it gets to actually like extending your analytics, exposing data to an analytics tool as well. Working also when it gets to collaboration, there are also like embedded channels that help with the problem resolution, working in teams, and also integrating with generic channels when it gets to incident management or collaboration platforms. So let me get started a little bit then more in detail into these use cases. Now we have seen how they actually connect all together in the problem management process. So how do we look in detail here? So let me get started first with the business process monitoring use case in Cloud ALM. So as I can say, as I talked at the beginning about a business process, as I brought up the example of the lead to cash. So the goal here is again to detect any operational issues in business so that you can react to them. So first, we need to provide the transparency to your end-to-end business process, to those distributed landscapes as we've seen, consuming different solutions, software as services, so that you see like the entire process instead of like distributed in all each system that you had to hop in. You see the entire process, everything is documented in here. This helps you actually to ensure business continuity, to increase the business process execution and the quality as well as the performance in here. So the way it works, as I said, like we in SAP, we provide those content and those KPIs to visualize the process performance and the disruptions that you can see here. We capture this in your systems. So let me give a little bit background to this. So how does it work to monitor those process and health, that you see the health and detect those anomalies of those systems? As I mentioned, you can then actually like really drill down into this process, like a process you always have to understand there, like sub-process in here. So the way it works, like we have pre-delivered content and processes. So once you have your Cloud ALM tenant provisioned and your cloud service connected in here, there's an auto discovery functionality for the relevant process KPIs that will be switched on, that will be monitored, and you see those KPIs in here. So this actually is a great feature in here that absolutely helps alert your users directly on any process disruptions. And important also, not just you get the notification, you get also like an automated problem resolution for certain workflows and steps that can be automated in here. Second, let's go to the integration scenario. So integration is in general probably like a very complex topic. When we talk about integration, it's usually integration with multiple systems, services, and there's a lot of different data exchange going on. Integration can be sometimes very hard to have transparency and also like get to oversee all the landscapes and the scenarios in here. Same goal in here with integration exception monitoring to provide end-to-end monitoring. And in Cloud ALM, they have shown by correlating single messages in the end-to-end message flows. So you can always see like your scenarios. So like, first of all, there are different ways that you can like actually like monitor integration scenarios, like either by a service itself, by your solution that you can look up, or you want to have your scenario, which actually helps you to visualize. You see the entire scenario, your end-to-end process in here. And you see also by a color code if there are any issues or any exceptions in here. So you can easily monitor all those related exceptions in here. Cloud ALM operations integration monitoring actually also supports the peer-to-peer interfaces as well as the orchestrated integration monitoring. So this is what I mentioned. You can either look it up by services, by peer-to-peer, or by the scenario. So what you can see is here, maybe the might raise a little question when I talked about at the beginning, we focused run for the hybrid environment in Cloud ALM for operations are cloud-centric. But also here is a good point that I mentioned up on this picture that you can visualize when it gets to integration, that we select integration for cloud, but then you can also see a data exchange to the on-prem world. So in Cloud ALM operations, we also support all flavors of SAP S/4HANA, also when it gets to on-prem. So here, this is a very good read to efficient problem resolution process. And again, a very great tool for a collaboration platform between the business and the IT that actually helps you to monitor and visualize those integration scenarios, alerting it out of the box. So depending on what kind of error it is, and I will show you maybe in the system a little bit, if you see like, is it something on the technical side, or is it some issue in this integration scenario that's more relevant for the business that needs to be solved, that will be easily identified and visualized and can be also like then directly routed. Coming next, the real user and performance monitoring. So this is the tool to help you analyze to understand the performance and utilizations from an end user perspective. So this is a great tool that gives you a transparency, like a starting point that you go in and first, the way it looks like it, I can see at the bottom, like everything is visualized, and we have a lot of out-of-the-box dashboards in here. And you start also on a high level in a big picture to see like, what's the current situation in my landscapes? So you can see an overall situation, how was the performance of my real user executions in here? And then starting from there, you can always break down like either by different technologies. You want to look up like all HTML requests or all requests like going through an HTTPS through a specific component, or you want to go through a different service or a scenario. So this actually like helps me to provide transparency when it gets here. And as a typical example, if an end user, an employee, or a customer is reporting an issue about the performance, that you can really drill down and look down by visualized and see what he was really experiencing, or the end user. Meaning that you see, was it a problem like the network? Was it my service, my backend system? Or was it just on the front end? Or was it actually like the execution fine? And was there just different expectation on the performance? So you see all this information in the real user and performance monitoring capability. Coming next, so now we have talked about how to monitor a business process and the integration between the systems and how an end user is experiencing this. But now we also want to understand what are like my jobs operating in my landscape. So also here, there's a job and automation monitoring that provides you also transparency and a go-to tool, like a big picture, a centralized platform about the execution time and to automate activities regarding your jobs. So this again, like intrusive, so you have to understand, instead of like going into single services and look up any execution time here. So this is again like a goal, a centralized platform that you have like a total overview visualized and see the performance here. So you see the execution of your job or tasks, and also detect any anomalies in your jobs. So that you can see is like how was the execution, how it's performed, how was the execution time, are there any correlation to a previous job when it gets to a chain, but also then seeing like seeing historical execution information in the past. It gives you also like some insights as well. So also for job and automation monitoring, there is planned to be an enhanced operation flows. So again, we also like keep working on improving. There will be a new job and automation monitoring function coming out in the next waves. So, and also like we keep improving. So you have already a lot of like out of the box analytics to enable trends analysis based on historical data. Health monitoring. So now this is, if it gets like really to your service itself. So this is then the check about the application of the health and social cloud services on the systems. So again, here, this is where we see like when you go in as having Cloud ALM operations as your entry points to start and see what's the health of my applications here, my cloud services systems. You monitor it, and also like it gives you analytics out of it that you see, like you can see historical data, you can see trends. And most important, then also when you see any abnormalities, you have always the alerting capabilities in here. So those are like the checks that you can do in here for any status of persistency, jobs, or any connectivity that you can actually like see in here. It also includes any trends and usage metrics And again, also very important, embedded analytics that always helps you to identify any root causes that are actually causing those problems in the landscape in here. So before I come to an end to the SAP Cloud ALM, and we'll finish up with the operation, with the roadmap, I would like to go over into my demo system and walk you through the system a little bit and show you like an example about the integration monitoring. So this is my starting point, my Cloud ALM operations. So as I mentioned, it's a full ALM suite. We have the implementations part and then operations in Cloud ALM. So in the operations part, I've switched down and go in here and I see all those use cases that I walked you through, like a business process monitoring, real user monitoring. So now let's say I'm an integration expert. I want to see about what's going on with my integration scenarios in here. So I walk in here, and as I mentioned, I see first my services. Those are my cloud solutions that I can actually select and look up and see any integration scenarios through those services. So now I can either select each of them individually and look them up, or I have a specific scenario in my landscape for integration related scenarios that I can actually set up in Cloud ALM for operations. So here again, we see like as an example, the lead to cache, or like transferring a lead from one system to the other one and see how the data exchange goes in here. So now I can actually like build up my scenario, I can name the scenario and see how integration looks like in the scenario in here. So let me select the scope in here, like a lead transfer, and then apply it and visualize it in here that I see what has been happening in the past. So now I see all like my marketing cloud. I see this being connected through a cloud platform integration to a cloud for customer solution. So meaning, as an example, someone tries to send a lead from a marketing cloud to the cloud for customer system. So now, first of all, I can see is always see when was the automatic refresh. I can look up and see when was the last time. So I can actually look it up, set a reset, or get a new data in here. I can also like go back and look up historical data. I can select the time frame and also like suggest only days for today, or I want to go back and compare historical data from the past days in here. There's also an option to define it by itself instead of like using the standard predefined timeframes and go from there. Also, as for those who are new to Cloud ALM, there's an easy walkthrough, open help explanation that walks you through all the buttons in here. You can actually type in any topics that you're looking for, and there's always a help section in here. It's visualized and walks you through and explain a little bit where you can find it in here. So very nice feature. I highly recommend it for those who are new to Cloud ALM. If you just recently provisioned a tenant, or if you just want to play around in one of our public demo systems. So let me get back to my scenario in here that I see here, my marketing cloud. So now I want to see in here, so I have my monitoring capabilities. I can track, and I have also my alerting features in here. I can look up different ways for the alerting, or I just go through the service and see what's going on here. So now I get already the information. There's an error shown in red that I see like there's a category. I see the message, there's something wrong in an AIF message. I see the status. Now I actually have already 3 errors in here in total. So I have now 1 alert about a specific error that has occurred 3 times. So now I see a summary about this alert that I see like first the direction integration. So it was an outbound getting out from my systems. I see the category was a web service, the name of space of the web service. I get information about the interface, version of the interface, and then again, those errors that have been categorized. So now let's take a little look deeper. So I start on a high level. So now I can see those errors like has been occurred. I see already the status. I see already a status text that gives me some insights about the error. Here, certificate error. I get also like the message ID that I can jump into this message ID. I see again the service name as well. And also like the service type, meaning was the service written by. I see the event time and also like categories in here as well. So now I have different ways that I jump into the single errors as well that I can look up and see again. Like here's my business process, the integration scenario written, and I see like again, like here, everything is documented and I see all those errors, the message ID drilled down. So now also like a different way, I can either go in here or I go through my alerting inbox in here. So now I can see I've already an alert has been raised. And I see like with this errors in here, and I'm gonna look up and work from here. Again, all the information has been captured the same way in my alert, embedded alert inbox, and I will look up on what kind of options or what needs to be done in here. So now first on the very left-hand side, again, I see the detailed information about the alert name, the message, I see this is one alert that has been popped up, the same alert. And then in here, it has been correlated, has been clustered the alert, like those 3 alert errors that we have, that has been detected in here. So now I see also like, again, the message in detail. So I see like, again, this is a certificate error that has been done. So something technical. I see those are like workflows that has been available in here. Now I can see what I can do in here. So as I'm an integration expert, we had the certificate errors in the past a few times. Let's see some actions that I can do in here. So now I can actually look up, I can confirm, but it's not, the problem is not solved yet. So let me start first solving the problem and try to do this maybe with a workflow that I have in here, my workflow logs in here. So now I look up, I see all my defined workflows in here. Now I get down and see I have a specific workflow that resolves certificates error in my lead transfer. So now I can go in here and start this certificate error workflow to solve this problem and start and to reprocess. So now I trigger my workflow. It has been executed. Now after refresh, I can see what the outcome will be now. So now it seems my workflow has been worked. It has solved the workflow issue. It sees it has been finished. It has been sent from my service towards to the integration platform, and this should be hopefully completed in here if there is no other error. So now I have ways that I can confirm my ticket, that I can type in error has been resolved through the workflow. So I have it documented in here and I can confirm it and can close it. So now I want to see and make sure everything has been processed all the way through, or if I want to check if there are any other related issues. So I can go back to my topology view and see the entire process in here. So now as I can see, my first service has been green now. It has been sent through my integration platform, but still I see now there is another error in the back. So trying to get into the Cloud for Customer system. So now there's also like, okay, let's go back in here. Maybe let's see if there's another technical issue that can fix right away, or if I have any other issues in here. So now I have, again, the same way in here that I look up my messages in here. So now just like 2 actually has been processed correct, but we have 1 error with one of those leads out of those 3 that we have sent. So let's take a look into that and see what's going on with this last remaining one and what can be done in here. So again, in here, I'm trying to make a root cause analysis easily. I go into navigate into the details and I see again, detailed information about the process. Now it has been updated immediately. I see also like the message ID, the message flow down here with the link to the ID. And then I do the same thing again. I want to scroll down and try to get more information about the error. And I see already here, there has been a mapping issue, an unknown country code. So this is something on the functional side, which means by the country code, probably someone has typed in a wrong country code. Let's say instead of using 2 letters, for, let's say as an example for US, and has typed in US and A. So the system only accepts 2 letters. So this is something that you can now then actually send to the processor, the responsible person, and let them know there is a lead that has been transferred with a wrong country code. Please go in and fix this one entry. So there's also then ways to go in here again when I go through my alerting. Same with what I did with the technical side and stuff. Now starting a workflow. So this is also like I would like to notify someone, a direct person. Then I would have like the actions in here, and then say someone and notify to fix this issue. Good. So this is a quick overview in SAP Cloud ALM operations into the tenant. So I just wanted to give you an overview how it looks like as everything is visualized, self-explained, and actually like a great tool to work as a collaboration platform in between the business, the line of business, and the IT. And as I said, like there are multiple use cases in here, and we have lots of demo systems. We have a public demo systems, lots of recording, and we're always happy to walk you through additional use cases, deep dive sessions. I hope just for today, the integration monitoring give you lots of insights how it looks like and what you can achieve on a high level. And at this point, I just want to walk you through the roadmap and finish up with the roadmap before I go into the SAP focused run topic. So this is our operations. Again, this is just a roadmap for operations. We also have a dedicated roadmap for the implementation. So this on the very left-hand side, this is what is currently available. So now this is the content roadmap that you see, like the use cases that we have and the solutions that we're supporting in here right now. And also that is like by the end of 2021, we're adding more and more solutions in here to make sure like we cover all the portfolio. And then also more important than that, you see like not just only that we let you know like the solutions that we keep adding to it. Also, as I mentioned, we keep adding more and more functions in our roadmap. So this has been the roadmap what's been available since the end of Q1. You can see now what's coming out in the next month. So, and also a great feature that I haven't mentioned at the beginning with Cloud ALM. Cloud ALM is is an open cloud tool. So meaning we don't have to wait. We're taking all the advantage of like from cloud native coding that we see. You don't have to wait for long releases of, so we can actually like release in waves. So this is actually gives you the capability to roll out new features actually weekly. How can you get started with Cloud ALM for operations or with Cloud ALM in general? So how does the onboarding process looks like and usage? It's actually pretty simple. So in a nutshell, there are 3 steps. So try it out on your onboard yourself. So as I mentioned, there is a public demo system available. Go look up, check out the use cases, the demos, the recordings that we have. And if you're interested in, just go and highly recommend just to provision your own tenant. You just provision your own tenant. There's a documentation in there. This is everything can be done through the documentation, through the setup. And then depending on the use case that you would like to do, either the business process monitoring, integration monitoring, and all the others, you can go from there and have like use those use cases in here. How does it work to the usage itself? Cloud ALM does not require a license. For those who have a SAP Enterprise Support Cloud Edition, you're eligible to use Cloud ALM right away. Good. So next step, let me go ahead and walk you through SAP Focused Run. So Focused Run again, like so in this session, I would like to like tell you like how you can do operations in a hybrid landscape. So first, before I go into Focused Run, let me quickly just recap about Cloud ALM operations that you see. This mainly, it's concentrated for cloud-centric customers. But it's not just like explicitly just only cloud product. As I mentioned, we support also like all flavors of S4 and on-prem. So customers that you see like they're kind of hybrid, leaning more towards to cloud or want to become a cloud hybrid. So this is definitely something that you can look into Cloud ALM operations. Now with SAP Focused Run. Focused Run, how is it different? Focused Run, again, is a pure technical monitoring tool. So this is not a full ALM suite that covers like the implementation, like the build and the run part. This will only talk about technical monitoring. And this is actually a solution that is specifically for hybrid and bigger landscapes that we're seeing. Like, as you probably can see, like here's like for customers and partners that operate a solution like in a centralized and a highly automated way. And when I talk about highly automated, so let me compare this a little bit for those who are using, as for now, SAP Solution Manager monitoring. So those that we see, like you probably have seen already, like it's like more like for the operations for the on-premise world. Now we Focused Run, but how is it different? So it is an on-premise solution. It runs on a HANA database. So it means it runs itself on a HANA database, but it can still run monitor any DB. So why is it only on a HANA member base? And also what's different? So it's a pure ABAP system on a HANA database with a very simplified architecture. So if you compare it with SAP Solution Manager, which is a dual stack, you have an ABAP stack and a Java stack, but here this is just only ABAP stack. So there's a lot of simplification as well. So what are we addressing in here? So we're addressing the needs of scalability. And when I talk about scalability, what we've seen in Solution Manager, because the architecture is also different, it was also like different scale. So this is what we talk about, like when you would like to monitor like thousands of systems, or like just high volume monitoring. A little bit to the history itself, like we at SAP, we use it internally, like different organizations at SAP, but especially our HEC data center team. They monitor over than 25,000 customer systems with one single SAP Focused Run system and haven't hit the ceiling yet. So also when we talk about security, there's improved security features in here, meaning there's the communication through from the Focused Run system to those technical monitoring, to this monitoring to manage systems is through HTTPS. So there's no REC connection build up necessary, and also like a lot of automation. And when I talk about automation, there's a lot of great features in here to automate, to simplify and reduce manual effort. There's a new technology in it that we use. It's called the simple diagnostic agent. Everything has been automated. So like the concept was like once you have your focus run system in place, there's the simple diagnostic agent that will be deployed from focus run to your managed system. It sits on top of the SAP host and there needs no manual installation, and it automatically connects your systems. You don't have to do like all this maintenance and set up the system. There's a lot of automation when it gets to the maintenance. Openness, again, here with SAP Focus Run, that we see like you can actually like integrate, that you see like IT infrastructure tools. So it's like a Nagios or other tools like a ServiceNow, a ticketing tool, to integrate it with Focus Run and use it in this way as well. I mentioned SAP HANA database. So here again, so it offers machine learning capabilities and automated correlations. So there's a huge advance needed when it gets like to system anomaly prediction or forecasting of any behaviors in the landscape. And also like the alerting, so we have an improved alerting and alerting and event management capability that helps again like with alert clustering or alert correlation to reduce a lot of like this alert flooding and makes like more intelligent event processing. So this is a great feature that gets like really for high-end monitoring in a hybrid landscape. So how does the use cases look like in SAP Focus Run? So probably very similar that you've seen in SAP Cloud ALM. Again, here, we really address all those needs when it gets to monitoring and integration scenarios, especially in a hybrid landscape that you see if you have like multiple on-premise system and also cloud solutions using different middlewares like a process integration or process orchestration, but also cloud platform integration, have hybrid scenarios like a central finance, having full transparency in there, but also like down by technologies, depending on what you want to see, like just only my RVC connection, data exchanges, all those informations. Advanced user monitoring, same here, real user monitoring capability in here that gives you full transparency about your end users, the scenarios, you can break it down, each of the components and see an overview, what are user experience and who are your users. Different ways also then when it gets to application management, like the third box here on the very left-hand side, classic application capabilities in here. Great feature, configuration monitoring, very hot topic when it gets also to compliance or security-related topics in here. So this is a way, the tool that you can look in here that you see what are the changes, what have been changed in my landscape. So very important also for auditing purposes, but also having the capability you can roll out this like on a template base by SAP's best practices that you can see what has been changed, or also very important, are there any security patches rolled out recently released by SAP that needs to be applied into my systems? Are they up to date? And you can also write your own templates. If you do any checks, especially in a high landscape and stuff like going into your system, doing manual checks, this can be easily done with configuration management. System management, again, the classic way to monitor your systems. Here again, like huge many out-of-the-box templates to start monitoring your landscapes, dashboards, capabilities to have all those insights for analytics and those like historical data and see how the trends are going on. And then starting then on the right-hand side again here, like we covered the entire and the problem management step. Where it's like started first with detecting problems, then routing those problems that we see like with this advanced event and alert management capability, fixing problems, seeing where the root cause is out of it, and lots of operation automation. Great feature, especially when it gets to machine learning at the end, AI. So in Focus Run, there are great features like the machine learning that we see, like the system anomaly prediction. Focus Run, it's an intelligent system. So Focus Run with machine learning, it can actually give you like the confidence with 98% confidence can tell you that your HANA system will be down in the next hour. So meaning this is a tool that actually helps you to work proactively. So not just getting a notification when your system is down. Because once you get the system, your system is down, it is already impacting your business process. So now you want to see like getting proactively, having time to actually avoid any business showstoppers at this point. So how does it work? And then what is the little last slide that I come in here to focus on the components and communication. I don't want to get too technical on this slide, but this is I think a very nice slide that gives you, especially for those who are very familiar or using to the SAP Solution Manager technical monitoring, that gives you a little overview of like the simplification in here. So when I start on the very right-hand side with the customer network, so this is the network where you see where you have your managed systems in here. So here you see the SAP host agent, and then on top of it, this is the simple diagnostic agent. So this is a small JavaScript that sits on top of the host agent, and this is the only agent that collects those data. This will be then transferred, as you see, like the communication goes just only through HTTPS and will be sent over to your SAP Focus Run system. So again, here, simplified architecture, it's a pure NetWeaver ABAP stack, and there's a lot of reduction in here from the components. So first of all, you don't need a Java stack, as I mentioned. There's also a reduction, a lot of like the BW or like the transfer framework have been all reduced, because this will be all taken care by the power of the HANA database and collects this information in here. Lots of simplification, which actually really helps a lot for the scalability and also for the openness and also for automation. Great. So this was my slide, my presentation about how operating a hybrid landscape with either SAP Cloud ALM or SAP Focus Run. I hope I give you a better overview about our tools, our products, give you also a little understanding why we have the solutions, what the what is the strategy behind, what are the target groups, and what you can do. And as I said, like we're more than happy to have any deep dive session, but for this at this point, I will just go ahead and make sure if you have if I can answer any questions at this point.
Thomas, it does look like we have a question in the Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
Can we use Cloud ALM to monitor on-premise ECC on NW?
Can we use Cloud ALM to monitor on-premise ECC on NetWeaver? On-prem the ECC, so we support all the flavors from the S/4HANA, so also the on-premise, also the business suite now. Yes, we can. And also, like I would like to put the link in the chat if I can find it right away. So in our SAP Cloud ALM product webpage, you can see all the supported solutions for each use case that we can support in here as well. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Please feel free at this time to either enter your question into the Q&A, or you can raise your hand alternatively, and we will unmute your mic if you'd like to ask your question live. If there are no further questions, Thomas, do you have any final comments?
Yes, thank you very much for joining. I hope the session was helpful for you and give you some insights. As I said, like I highly encourage to check out our product webpage, and also if you're interested in any deep dive sessions with me or our team, always feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to set up a dedicated session with you. Thanks for joining.